Okay, so in this week's guitar lesson, we're going to be looking at two things. We're going to break down a fingerstyle rhythm, and we're also going to be learning how to play a lead on top of that. So really, the composition this week is just two guitars. There's not a bass or drums or any other instruments, which makes it kind of fun because you could play this along with a friend, or you could play this by yourself. You could record yourself playing the rhythm part and then work on the lead part, or vice versa, however you want to do it. So in this video, we're going to break down just the lead component. We'll do all of it, but if you'd like to learn the rhythm part and also get the tablature for both parts and get the MP3 jam track for both parts, so maybe you don't want to learn the rhythm, but you do want to learn how to play the lead part, you'll have all of those pieces that you can work on and practice how to play this. You can get all of those things by going to activemelody.com, go to the weekly lessons page and do a search for EP484. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to play through the first part of this. We can get the sound in our head, and then we'll talk about how to play the lead on top of it. Okay, so that rhythm part goes. Now all of that is just an E chord. If I were strumming along with an acoustic guitar, I'd play something like this, right? Even though I'm playing a lot of other things, it really just represents an E chord. So the only three chords in this is that, and then it goes to an A, and then a B, and then back to the E. So it's a 1-4-5 in the key of E. And most of everything we're going to be playing is just in the key of the song. We are going to follow the chord changes in a few spots, but for the most part, we're playing, a lot of it's going to be Pentatonix scale around the key of the song. But we start off playing Mixolydian Scale. Don't let that scare you. It's easy. I'll explain it here. The first thing I played was this. And what I was doing was I was harmonizing the little melody that came out of the rhythm part. So I heard this little melody line going. Now, it may be because I had kind of Blue Miles Davis in my head. You know, that album, it's the best. I'm sure most of you know that, but if you don't, definitely listen to that album. And the first track on that, I can't remember the name of it, but I think that's where that came from, that idea anyway. And it's just harmonizing, you know, in this case, I'm harmonizing along with the lead part. Now, the notes that I'm playing, I had to think about this after the fact, but the notes are Mixolydian Scale. Now, Mixolydian Scale is the same as your major scale. It's just like my E major scale, but you flat the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you flat it. And that gives you that kind of sad, not sad, but a bluesy kind of vibe. It just takes that major scale and it dials it to the blues a little bit and gives you kind of a bluesier vibe. Now, some of you are saying, okay, cool, I understand that. Some of you may be confused. Just bear with me here. All of this is being played out of this one position, and this is the C shape. Now, I'm thinking about an E chord. This is an E chord, but we're playing it using the C shape. And I just want to mention this little plug for the Cage system. I talk about it all the time and I have for years. And I just saw a video from Guthrie Trapp. If you don't know Guthrie, check out his YouTube channel. He's a great guitar player, great educator as well. You'll learn a lot from watching Guthrie. But he mentioned in a video that he just posted recently that somebody was kind of ripping on the cage system. I don't know if they left a note to him or posted a video or what, but they were saying that it was too limiting. And I've seen comments like that through the years. And I think it's just people that are not understanding what the cage system is designed to do. If you're just playing the chord, it is pretty limiting. But the thing is, if you think about this shape in this area as a container or a bookmark, then we can attach other things to that bookmark. So to me, this shape is everything. It's the major scale, it's Mixolydian scale, it's the minor chords, minor scales, it's everything I can think about with an E, E6s, E9s, all of that stuff, it's right here. It's in this container. I just have to label it something, so I call it the C shape. But that's what the cage system ends up being. When you think of it that way, it's everything. It's not limiting at all. It really does sort of unlock everything. So anyway, I just wanted to give Guthrie a little shout out. And also I agree with the sentiment of his video that it's not limiting if you think of it that way. So we're playing out of this C shape. Now this is an E chord. I didn't actually play the chord, but I just wanted to show you that. If I started here, which would be the 6th fret 4th string, and watch this. We're gonna walk up. This is that Mixolydian scale I was talking about. It's the same as your major scale, but we're gonna flat the 7. So we're gonna start 6th fret 4th string, and then we're gonna go 6, 7. Then we're gonna go to the 4th fret 3rd string, 6th fret 3rd string, and then up to the 7th fret 3rd string. So now start that with your ring finger. You want to do that so that your fingers are in position to do other things. And that's the little piece of your Mixolydian scale. That's all you need to know of it. And you can connect it back to your E chord using the C shape. That bookmark, that's where this is coming from. So file that away into your little Rolodex of ideas so that in the future, if you like that kind of bluesy vibe, you don't have to learn Mixolydian all of it, just learn this little piece of it. Right? And connect it to something that you can pull out in the future and use in something else. So I played through it twice. I went, and then the second time I went, so a little harmony there, and that would be playing that Mixolydian scale but with a harmonized third. I'm playing strings 2 and 3 on the 7th fret, and then 5th fret 2nd string, and 6th fret 3rd string. Those two. And then we walked it down again, the same way we did before. So just those two notes I harmonized on. And by the way, speaking of harmonies, I didn't mention this. When I started this, with this ring finger on the 6th fret 4th string, that would be the 3rd interval of your scale. So if you think about your major scale, 1, 2, 3, do, re, mi, the mi, right? The 3rd interval. We started on the 3rd. And when you want to harmonize something, try either a 3rd or a 5th above whatever the root is. So you take the note you want to harmonize and you play up the major scale until you find it's 3rd or it's 5th. You can get different sounds depending on the intervals, the spacing between the two. But that harmonized 3rd is a real pretty sound. So it has kind of an Allman Brothers kind of vibe. All right, so the second time through, then the song goes to the A chord, and I highlighted the A by playing the A chord here. And I just strummed the chord. That's my A chord using the E shape, right? Just the top 4 strings of it. And then the song goes to the B, and I could have just played the B. That would have been fine, but why not do something a little more creative and go, and that gets us back to our E. So what I'm playing there is going from the B6 to the B9. I talk about this all the time. 6 chord to the 9 chord. And it's just a jazzy kind of vibe that you can work around a chord. So here's how you connect it though. This will be a light bulb for some of you out there. There's my B chord using the E shape, right? Picture that. That's our anchor. That's our bookmark. So now I'm playing, when I play this, I'm playing a B6. So I've got this little triad right here. And actually when I played this, I only played strings 2, 3, and 4. I didn't even hit the 1st string. So it looks like that. Both my pinky and my ring finger on the 9th fret, strings 2 and 3, and then my middle fingers on the 8th fret, 3rd string. I hit that, and then walked it down. And if you go down 2 frets this way, you're playing the 9 chord of whatever you started with. So that's it. If this is a B6, go down 2 frets, it's a B9. And remember, you can add your index finger to, in this case, it would be the 5th fret 1st string if you want that extra note in there. But that's a B6 to a B9. So I came up to this, and all of that can represent your B chord, right? So, and then down to my E, right? It resolves perfectly to the E because you're going from the 5 chord back to the 1. That's the perfect sort of tension resolution. And when I went back to my E chord, I'm using the E chord, or I'm playing the E chord out of the C shape. You can see that, just strings 2 and actually 2 and 4. So it's like this. And then I threw in a little major pentatonic scale like that goes. Let's look at that. So I'm going 4th fret 3rd string, and then a quick slide from the 6th fret to the 4th fret on the 4th string, and then we go down to the 2nd fret, then we go down to the 5th string and go 4, 2, and then open 6th string. Great little kind of country lick, and all of that is just major pentatonic scale. And you can see, you can connect it to your E chord up here, getting you back down to here, because you hit that low 6th string and then you take your hand off and reposition it. This is a zone that I talk about quite a bit when it comes to major pentatonic scale for E, between the 2nd fret and the 4th fret on the 6th string, 5th string, 4th string. All of those notes are your E major pentatonic scale. So connect those back to your E chord shape. You can see when I'm making that chord where my middle and ring finger are, they're already on that 2nd fret. Now I've got those notes, and I can slide up into this position, which is where we started. So hopefully that's a light bulb's going off and you're connecting that. Okay, so E chord, E major pentatonic scale connected me to my E chord shape up here. Huge. I mean, there's a lot of value in just that. Even if you get nothing else out of the lesson, you got your E chord to your E chord, and you've got this E major pentatonic scale between the 2 zones. So while I let that open 6th string ring out, that low E string, I came up and hit a harmonic on strings 1 and 2 at the 12th fret. It's easy to do, just tap it. I don't do a lot of harmonics, but that sort of seemed like a good place for it. So now those 2 E's, all those E's are ringing out, and I can come back and I can go back into the same little melody that we did the first time. So it repeats the second time. So then the second time goes. So that's the A chord. Let's look at that. So there's a walking up that Mixolydian. This time I went up to the 5th fret 2nd string and hit that E note. Now watch this. Then remember, that's where the song goes, the A chord. So I'm sliding up rather, from the 7th fret to the 9th fret on the 2nd string, 7th fret 1st string, quick slide back to the 7th fret 2nd string. So we have, and then we go to the 5th fret. So all of these are, there's a fret in between, little box here and a box here. And then we come down to the 6th fret 3rd string. Now all of these notes are E major pentatonic scale. And you can connect them to whatever you want. You can connect them to this C shape or the A shape up here. In fact, these 2 notes will be the top part of your A shape. It's in my E chord using the A shape. But hopefully you can see we got an E chord, you got an E chord, and you got this little E major pentatonic scale kind of between the 2. So then we do a hammer on from the 5th fret to the 7th fret, 2nd string, and then down to the 6th fret, 3rd string again. So all together we have. then the song goes to the B, and I played this. And that gets me back to the E. So I didn't play the B chord there, but I went, so I slid into this position. Again, I'm just playing E major pentatonic scale. And remember, in this part, I'm not really thinking about these chord shapes. I'm not trying to trace the notes out of those chords or play arpeggios. I'm just staying in the key of the song. It's the safest thing to do. So I'm just staying in the key of E, because the song's in the key of E, and I'm playing E major pentatonic scale stuff. So I came up here for once the song goes to the B chord, I went. So I slid up to this. 7th fret 1st string, 9th fret 2nd string, 9th fret 1st string, and then a quick slide on the 2nd string from the 9th fret to the 7th fret. We go back to the 5th fret, back to the 6th fret 3rd string, and then the 5th fret 2nd string, that E note. And played all of that. All of that is your E major pentatonic scale. And then the last little tag is this. And this will be getting into the minor pentatonic scale. You can see how it sounds a little bluesy there. That'll be pattern 3 of your minor pentatonic scale. So I'm starting on the 3rd string here, 6th fret, doing a half bend. So I'm coming up to the 7th fret. And then we're gonna play the note without the bend. Then we come down to the 4th fret. So, and then we come down to the 7th fret, 4th string. And then 5th fret, 4th string, 7th fret, 5th string. So you can see, I'm down into that little piece of the minor pentatonic scale for the key of E. So that'd be your pattern 4, like the bottom part of pattern 4. Or pattern 3, just depends on how you look at it, but it's these notes. The same ones we were looking at for your E major pentatonic scale, right? Remember the difference between the minor and major pentatonic scales is only 3 frets. It's the same shape though. So we have, and then I hit that low E string just to sort of re-emphasize the E note. All right, so now the song goes to a G sharp, and I walked it up. When I played the rhythm part, I just walked it up each fret, sort of chromatically, 2nd, 3rd, up to the 4th fret. I'm talking about the fret that I'm barring there. Now, why did I play a G sharp when we're playing in the key of E? I don't know. It just sort of worked. I was thinking about, this is a common sort of borrowed chord that you hear in the key of E. You hear this in a lot of R&B stuff, and I probably just got the idea from something else. I'm sure I did. I don't really have the theory answer for that, but it would be like your 3 chord but major, however you want to look at it. But then I go from that to go up another step to the A, another fret. So from G sharp to the A, and then we go to the E, to the B, and then back to the E. So that's this next part in the song. G sharp, A, E, B, E. So for the G sharp, what I played was I just traced the notes of the chord. Now obviously we've switched gears, and so just staying in the pentatonic scales for the key of E is probably not going to work in this one spot. So what I did was I came up and I thought about that triad, the top part of my G sharp chord, strings 1, 2, and 3. I slid in on the 3rd string, 5th fret, and then I came up and hit the 4th fret, 1st string. Or maybe the the first 2 strings on the 4th fret. Either of those would work. And then I came up to this. This was something I got out of Jerry Garcia. I hear him do this a lot. So you play this triad, and then you come up to this, which is like the 7. It's also Hendrix Red House, right? Same kind of thing. So I came up to this. This is your D7 shape. Think of your D7 in first position. If you were to slide it up here so that your ring finger and middle finger are on the 8th fret. So it's 3, 1, 3, 2. Those are the string numbers. So you have and then the song goes to the A, and I went, let's look at that. So it starts off, I'm thinking about my A, right? So that makes sense. I'm just thinking of that A triad. hitting strings 2 and 3. So I'm starting on the third interval of the A chord. So it'd be the 6th fret 3rd string, 5th fret 2nd string. And then we go back and forth between those two. Now watch this. So that's 7th fret, 8th fret on the 2nd string up to the 5th fret 1st string. Now these notes would be like your A Mixolydian. If you think about it. Now I didn't know about that until after the fact. I had to think about that. Like, how would I explain this? That's technically what's going on there, but I was just thinking about playing out of this A chord. I was thinking about highlighting the notes of this A7, really trying to pull out that 7 to blues it up, and I ended up doing that. But in it, so what that scale is the Mixolydian scale for A Mixolydian, not E. Now watch this. That's the next part. It's easier than it sounds. So it's we're gonna put our index finger on the 5th fret 1st string, come up to the 7th fret 1st string, and then watch this. A quick pull off between the 6th fret and the 5th fret on the 1st string. And then we're going to come down to the 8th fret 2nd string, back to the 5th fret, keep that 5th fret 1st string anchored there. And then back to the 8th fret 2nd string. And then we're going to do 5, 5th fret 2nd string, 6th fret 3rd string. So these are notes we've already played. So all together that A, let's take it from the G sharp. That's sort of the timing of it. You can think of all of that as a lick that works over your A7, but it's also got licks or some notes that work in your E major pentatonic scale, pattern 4. Playing that 5th fret 2nd string, 6th fret 3rd string, those are notes from your E major pentatonic scale. Those are also the notes from your A triad, so that's why they work over kind of both. And then to get out of that, I just went. It's that same thing we've already done, going right back into that E minor pentatonic scale. So I'm doing that half bend again from the 6th fret 3rd string, bend and release. Actually, it's a pre-bend release. Down to the 4th fret on the 3rd string. And then we walk all the way down to that 7th fret 5th string, hit the open 6th string, and then re-emphasizing that E, just hammering it on between the 5th fret and 7th fret. So, okay, now the song repeats that same chord structure. We go to the G sharp, the A, and to get to the G sharp, this time I followed the chords. I went. So that's how I did it. I'm just playing the triad. F sharp, G, G sharp, but I'm hybrid picking, so I'm picking on the 3rd string, and then I'm plucking with my index finger on the 1st string, and I'm doing a hammer on, so I'm barring the first 3 strings on that 2nd fret, hammer on to the 3rd fret, same thing here, same thing here. And then the same little 7th chord, that's exactly the same. Now at this point, I go back to the key of the song. The rest of the chords, we have the A, we have the E, we have the B, we have the E. So I came up here and went. So I came up into this, which would be E major pentatonic scale pattern 1, 12th fret 1st string. Hit that note, and then a quick slide from the 12th fret 3rd string down to the 11th fret, and then down to the 9th fret on the 3rd string. So it's, and I left out that 9th fret 1st string, so it's, and then after that I went, look at this, All of that is really just representing the E chord. And so I'm thinking about my E chord here using the A shape, thinking about it up here using the G shape, but that triad there, that's the critical part, because you've got this harmonized third that I talk about a lot. I'll leave a link on the screen right now to a micro lesson that addresses this very thing, so you can get all the ideas that you can play out of this triad. But that's where that's coming from. And then back down to that 9th fret, strings 2 and 3, and then grab the 4th string. All right, for that last lick, we go right back into the minor pentatonic scale for the key of the song. So it's the E minor pentatonic scale. It goes. And so that's how we conclude this thing. So this is just a lick starting up here in pattern 4 of your minor pentatonic. We're gonna walk it all the way down to your open E string. So it goes like this. That's the first thing. On the 2nd string, we're gonna go to the 10th fret, full bend, then play the 10th fret without the bend, and then the 8th fret, 2nd string. And then there's a triplet. This is between the 9th fret and the 7th fret on the 3rd string, and then we come down to the 4th string, 9th fret, 4th string. So all together, you put those two pieces together, and then watch this. We're gonna slide it down 9th to the 7th on the 4th string, 5th fret, down to the 7th fret, 5th string. So it's all together, then we have. So just set a little metronome, tap your foot, and get that lick down. It's a great little minor pentatonic blues lick. You could just work it over and over again and start to loop it, and then you can, once you get the sound and, or, you know, you get the vibe of it, the cadence of it, you'll be able to use that lick in something else. The last thing I played, which is kind of a response to that, goes. So we're coming down here, this is on the 5th string. We're coming down to the 2nd fret, we're gonna do a hammer onto the 4th fret, and then we're gonna play that open 4th string. And then watch this. We're gonna walk it back down, 4, 2, and then the 3rd fret, 6th string, and then you're gonna pull that a little bit, and then you can hit your open E string. So that final response. So when we put the two together, that E minor pentatonic scale run, and now the song would repeat, and you could start back in, start back at the beginning there. If you're playing along with a jam track, you can repeat it at that point. Well, I hope you picked up a few ideas. Now remember, all of this was the lead part, but there's another whole half, which is learning how to play this fingerstyle rhythm, which is a percussive fingerstyle. And I've got that in a separate video. So hopefully you'll join us at Active Melody and check that out. And also you'd have access to the tablature and the MP3 jam track, so you can practice playing all of this stuff. And just remember, as you're practicing and going through everything, that all of these sounds, all these little licks, are things that you can use in other things going forward. All right, we'll see you in the next video.